Hello, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Something a little bit scary here. Several members of the community here have posted messages and links that go back to this website here, that there is a fake gold bar that was sold almost directly from the Royal Canadian Mint. And I'm going to just read the story. This is when you know, one of the big things, and I posted a video about this a little while ago about ways to avoid getting fake gold, is to buy from a reputable dealer. Well, it doesn't get any more reputable than the Royal Canadian Mint or the Royal Bank of Canada. So let's just dive into this. This is quite interesting and quite a bit of a game changer when it comes to fake gold that's out there. The Royal Canadian Mint is investigating how a sealed pure gold wafer with proper mint stampings may in fact be a fake. The 1 ounce gold piece, which was supposed to be 99.99% pure, was purchased by an Ottawa jeweler on October the 18th at a Royal Bank of Canada branch. Yet tests show of the bar, it contains no gold at all. When neither the Mint nor the Royal Bank of Canada would take the bar back, jeweler Samuel Tang contacted CBC News. "Who is going to make sure these gold bars are real?" asked Tang. "I am worried that there are more of these gold wafers," he calls them, out there, and no one knows. RBC has now picked up the bar and returned it to the Mint for testing, refunding Tang the $1,680 Canadian purchase price. The Royal Canadian Mint said in a statement to CBC, it is in the process of testing the bar, although the appearance of the wafer and its packaging already suggests that it is not a genuine Royal Canadian Mint product. William Rentz, a professor at the University of Ottawa's Telfer School of Management and an expert on investments and equity, says it's troubling. "A currency counterfeiter doesn't make just one fake $50 bill, he said. They make a whole lot of them. So I would suspect this might be the tip of the iceberg." RCMP said that they are aware of the incident, but no formal complaint has yet been made. Figuring out the gold was fake began on October the 18th when Tang purchased what he thought was a 99.99% pure gold wafer from the RBC branch just across the road from his Glebe area boutique, Joy Creations. He carried the business card-sized bar, which that includes the assay card, and a sealed Royal Canadian Mint blister pack back to the shop. And I didn't know they actually came in blister packs, but I don't get Royal Canadian Mint bars, so I don't know. I thought they just came in a tightly sealed a plastic card with it in there. But according to this, but we'll look at that in a second. He carried his goldsmith Dennis Barnard said he cut the plastic mint opening in place of 1 ounce wafer in a hand-cranked jeweler's tabling mill. "I thought my age was catching up to me because it was so hard to roll." So he knew something was amiss, so he tried bending the wafer. I don't know why they call it a wafer, it's a gold bar, but said pure gold is usually pliable and can be bent easily. Instead, the wafer snapped, leaving a jagged line. That's when I started realizing something was amiss. And here he is, looking at it as a piece of junk. Barnard then tested the gold himself using an acid testing kit. In an acid test, the jeweler rubs a streak of the metal across the abrasive test stone. Then a drop of the pre-mixed acid is added to the center of the streak. If the metal streak changes color or disappears, then the metal is less than the carat of the test acid. Gold of 99% purity is considered to be equal to 24 karat gold. But the bar from the RBC failed to test that gold of 18 karat or higher purity would pass. That's when his boss contacted the Royal Bank of Canada. "This could be huge. There could be quite a few people out there who've been rolled over," said Barnard. CBC News took the same bar to Ernest Marbar, owner of the Gold Lobby and Ottawa buyer of precious metals. Marbar also found the bar failed an acid test for 14 karat. So the $1 million question is the bar that came from the package is a piece of junk, said Marbar. That's the million-dollar question. How it ended up in that plastic case, he said. At Joy Creations, goldsmith Barnard said his concern wasn't with the goldsmiths being duped. Both he and Tang worry the bogus bar could be widely distributed and difficult to find, since most buyers are investors and leave the metal in the mint's blister-packed cases. Who's going to run around the open package which are sealed by the mint? As a concern echoed by Rentz, it's a serious problem. If the trust disappears, and that could seize up the market, at least temporarily. So they checked the security footage. The professor said the mint will be notified to get to the bottom of this case, since the discovery of the counterfeit undermines the confidence in their product. Tang said last Monday he spoke with the manager of the RBC branch where he purchased the bar. He said the manager was told by the mint dispatcher that they were checking security footage and trying to trace everyone involved in the handling of these bars. If the swap turns out to be an inside job, it wouldn't be the first time. Last November, 35-year-old Leston Lawrence was found guilty of smuggling $190,000 worth of gold pucks, each with the size of a small muffin, in his rectum over several months. Lawrence worked at the mint from July 2008 to March 2015. His job included purifying gold. Of course, it's grossly, no pun intended, different case, because smuggling gold out is much different than smuggling fake gold bars in. And, my guess is somehow, if this gold is supposed to come directly from the Royal Canadian Mint, which, by the way, it doesn't say in the story how these bars are acquired, an inside job would mean that, if the Royal Canadian Mint is the sole distributor of these gold bars to the Royal Bank of Canada, then essentially it had to have been an inside job. But if the Royal Bank of Canada can buy gold from the public, then that's a totally different matter. Either way, it's troubling, because you have a Royal Bank of Canada branch that's about as official as it gets next to the Royal Canadian Mint. So it's troubling at every turn, and this takes the counterfeit, because it's obviously a Chinese counterfeit, because the Chinese make these gold bars with assay cards as well, very convincingly, and I've talked about that in prior videos. There's no question that these things are being faked, and there's a lot of them out there, and they're coming from China 9 times out of 10. And so my guess is somebody from the inside is replacing them, but then how do they get out of the mint with the gold, with the metal detectors and the security? That's another matter. Unless it's a night watchman or police, who knows? There's probably some ways that it can be done, because if you're replacing one bar, you're basically have a placeholder for inventory, and then no one's none the wiser upon first glance of the bars. But nonetheless, whatever the case, one or two of these things out there from one of the most trusted sources from which you can buy gold, it really is troubling, and they've got to get to the bottom of it quick, because it's going to have an effect on the markets big time. And it's pretty amazing that they, when they were contacted, they would not return it. They wouldn't take it back. They wouldn't even entertain the thought. It wasn't until the media got a hold of it. And I could somewhat understand that to a point, because the other side of the story is maybe this jeweler wants to make a name for himself, and he replaced the bar with a fake, because maybe he had something, maybe he had a falling out with the bank teller or the bank itself. Maybe there was a loan or something that went awry or something like that. It could be a number of different things. But assuming the story is true, and the Royal Bank of Canada did in fact hand him a fake gold bar, then it's quite troubling, and there's got to get to the bottom of it. There's got to be a follow-up story to this, because it doesn't get any closer or more legitimate than the Royal Canadian Mint itself, which has their stamp on these bars. Pretty fascinating story. Thanks to the number of people, I've had a good number of people contact me about this today. want me to do a video on it. So there it is, a fascinating story. We shall see. And it makes me all the more glad that I got my precious metals verifier. It really does has paid off. And in fact, I went back from prior purchases I made from some companies I wasn't so sure about and tested my gold. And now I'm at ease of mind, because if I not had that, I would be worried about some of the pieces that I had. You know, when you spend that much money on gold, you want to make sure it's real. Post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.